I started with finance, then moved to legal because my mother wanted me to, obviously. And I started working into the legal industry for a while, worked with some big fours, and later I got into a corporate law firm. That was my dream job, just to be honest. You know, mergers and acquisition, project finance, worked into kind of projects which were involved into crores, and some of the BOT projects that you see around in the city, I was a part of it. But something inside me did not feel good for a really long time. I would wake up every day in the morning. Imagine I'm working for my dream job, something that I've spent like 6 years of my career studying for it. And I was there, and every morning I felt like that 4-year-old kid that you see who wakes up in the morning and says that I don't want to go to school. I exactly felt that way, that I don't want to go to office. Imagine, that's my dream job. And in order to get there, there was another, story behind it. So coming from a business family, when I completed my law, like how my parents wanted me to be, my father already got a job for me. My father already got an office for me, while I was in my second year of law, because I did a 3-year LLB right after my graduation. He had bought an office for me, and the day I completed my law school, he told me, that's your office. From tomorrow onwards, you're going to start practicing from that particular office. And I actually went to tell him that I got a job from campus placement and I want to work in the corporate legal side. And he was like, you're not going to do that. You're my daughter. We have a family business. If you want to practice law, you have an office, start your own practice. As a child, maybe like 24-year-old, what would I say? I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate on that part. I tried making up stories. I kept telling him that, Dad, I want to do this. And then I started making up, because obviously my profile was not only about legal. I had a mixture of a lot of things. I did, as I told you, I started with finance. I had business management and a lot of things by the time I was 24. So a little of everything on my CV and a lot of diplomas. I mean, you name anything and I will tell you that was a part of my CV, to be honest. So I told him that, okay, Dad, I think I want to get into stock markets. He's like, okay, I'll buy you a stock brokership, start that. Then I told him, I think I like something else. I just had kind of started making stories. And then everything that I told my father that I wanted to do, and he kept giving me an answer to it that, okay, I'll get that thing done for you. Now, as a confused child, obviously, because I already had a lot on my plate and I didn't know what to do. So I thought that because I just knew one thing, that I like and I want to be a corporate lawyer, okay, and I already had a job in my hand. So I told him that I really want to, work in this profile. I don't know, I want to do this. And to be very honest with you, my father would give me a pocket money which was double than the salary that I was being offered. Let me be very honest, that's the life of a lawyer. Okay, and when my father asked me a simple question, how much are they paying you? I told him the amount, and he told me, and let me be honest, it was 15,000 INR, and my father's like, are you serious? I pay you double the amount every month, and why do you need to work here? And plus you'll have your own thing. And I kept telling him that even if I start my own thing, how will I get my clients? Again, he's my dad. He told me that, don't worry about the clients, I'll get you clients, start your own thing. And I was a stubborn rebel kid. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do something of my own. So I went to my mother. Okay, my mother has always been my biggest mentor, supporter. I'm sure a lot of you will also relate with that. So I went to my mother and she's always been very supportive. And this time my mother was like, no, if your dad wants you to do this, enough, do this. We've supported you enough and now you have to do this. Now imagine I'm that young child who does not know whom to go to, because even my mother, who's like my supporter, is like, I'm going to support you. And again, because I was a rebel kid, I was like, no, I want to do this, figure out, I don't know how. I had a huge fight with my mother that day, I still remember. And then I somehow convinced her, and she agreed to that part, and I told her that, just give me 1 year. I just want 1 year. If I'm able to prove myself in 1 year, then we do whatever I want to do. If I'm not able to prove, then I do whatever you guys ask me to do. I come back to the office, start my own practice, and whatever we decide to. So my mother agreed on giving me 1 year. And then it was May, in the month of May, that, started all. And I was very happy. I joined back my office. It was a law firm in Nariman Point. As I told you, corporate law, legal firm. I was working a very good profile. Everything was fine. But as I told you that every morning, somewhere, down the line, I would feel like, I don't want to go to work. I don't know why I felt that. It was my dream job, trust me. I would call it an unfortunate situation that in the month of June, it was mid of June, I met with an accident. And unfortunately, I had to give up my job because the doctor asked me to be on bed rest for 1.5 months. This is the same job that I fought with my parents for. I had nothing in my hand, trust me, because when I fought with them for that 1 year, I also told them, I'm not going to take a single penny from you guys. You know, I will manage everything on my own because that's what I did, right? I don't want anything of yours. I'm going to manage everything. So now no money, no job, and a broken leg. So I started figuring out what do I do. Hardly any money, hardly any savings in my account. Not enough to even take care of my rent, to be honest. And eventually, once I started recovering, you know, I kind of find out, you know, like basically got into one job just to manage my expenses for a time being. And from that particular job, though I hardly worked there for 2 months, but from that particular job, I one day ended up, you know, landing up in a university. And while I was, you know, talking to those faculties out there and the HODs, the HOD, out of a lot of curiosity, happened to ask me that you do not seem to be someone like a salesperson. You know, what is your background? Then I told her my entire background, where do I come from, what all I've done, and she was so impressed, you know, with my background that she literally removed 2 textbooks, you know, of UG program, and she's like, can you teach my students the subjects next semester? I had nothing, I mean, obviously, I mean, you know, I told you how my career was moving, so I was like, okay, no problem, I'll do that. And I happened to give her my official number that the company I was working with. So I was offered a profile of a visiting faculty for 2nd semester that generally starts after Diwali break, November. And so I left that company meanwhile, and the faculty kept calling on my official number, to which obviously, you know, there was no response. I landed up in the college on 15 November, you know, obviously because I was called for the session. And morning the faculty sees me, she's like, I was trying to reach out to you from so many days and there was no answer. And then I explained to her that what exactly happened, and then she's like, no problem, let's start your journey. And from teaching 2 subjects to today being teaching in almost all colleges, university, school, PAL India, as a visiting faculty and as guest lecturer, you know, that's how my career changed. And also, you know, when I started teaching, okay, I had a lot of students who would come and interact with me with one common question that, ma'am, I am very confused, just like how I was. You know, they always came to me and kept asking me that, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I don't know what career should I go for. My parents want me to do something. I want to do something. Or sometimes the student would come and tell me, I want to do this, but my parents are not ready to, you know, accept this thing. So a lot of chaotic mind came to me. And that's when I realized, you know, that the major bridge between a student mindset and what the corporates wanted. And that's where I started mentoring, guiding, counseling students, you know, and from that time, I realized that this is what I like. I do not like teaching, I do not like law, I do not like finance. And that day, when I was driving back, I just started self-reflecting myself that I have done so many things. What do I actually like to do? And I realized that I like creating that particular impact. It was not about, you know, what I wanted to do in my life as a career on a whole, but creating impact was something that made me feel happy, because even if it was a 7 o'clock lecture in the morning, I would happily wake up and go to college on time. And even a 10 a.m. office would not make me reach at 10 a.m. to be honest. I would reach at 10:30 or maybe at 11. That's how I was. So I realized that, you know, the impact that I could create when I would see my students until date, when I meet them around and they tell me, I'm working here, I'm doing this in my career, I feel so good, so happy because I could create that impact in their life. You know, so that's how my career started, and I completely got into learning and development, mentoring, coaching. That's what I do now in my career. Everything was fantastic. I started my own startup into education industry, and as we all know how life is, it went well. And I remember I told you I had that 1 year. So I had to prove myself from, you know, losing a job to starting something of my own to exactly buying a car in next 1 year. By next year, I had a car, and that's something that I bought from my own money. Went back home, told my mom that this is my success, you know. The same family who kept telling me that you're not going to do a job, you're not going to do this, you know. The same family came, you know, to me and told me that we're really proud of you. You know, my father went ahead and told the entire family, I'm super proud of what my daughter does, you know. And a lot of my family members started coming to me for advices. So that's how my life changed. I started my own company. Things went well. There was a lot of success. And then again, life has its own setback. And eventually, again, from 0, I went to 100 and then again came down. But trust me, that did not stop me from anything. And the only thing that I had maybe a few years back, and even the time when I restarted my life, was one simple thing, my own willingness to do things. So I again picked up myself, decided that again I'm going to work, started up my another job, worked on my profile, made my career again successful and super impressive, And after a while, I realized one thing that was missing in my life. So now I was creating impact, meeting people, got into corporate trainings. So I was now bridging the gap between university, college, and school students to what the corporate wanted. And my major work deals, in transforming life from classroom to boardrooms. So that's something that, I do. So everything was going well, but somewhere inside, I was still feeling, I don't know, maza nahi aa raha hai. Something is missing inside. I don't know what is it. I have no idea what is it. CV looks impressive. LinkedIn looks super impressive. People who meet me, they are super happy to meet me. There are a lot of people who are at senior levels come to me for mentoring and coaching. And I don't know, there was something about me that did not fit well. And I was still trying to figure out what was that. And that's when I underwent a transformation. So you can see my photographs. Okay, that was me a year back, exactly a year back. And this was me 10 months later during Christmas. And I underwent a transformation. And the reason why I decided to share this transformation, because this transformation was not just a physical transformation. I started this transformation because I wanted to conquer body shaming. I wanted to conquer fear, that came in as a part of my weight. And one fine day, I decided that I want to lose my weight. Okay? And trust me, it was not easy because I had one of the longest, commitment, I would say, with sugar. A very 3 decade of relationship with sugar. And it was not easy to break up with something that you've lived for 3 decades of your life. It is more hurtful and depressing than breaking up with a human, to be very honest. But at some point, I realized that I have to do that. Because again, the rebel person inside me, the stubbornness came inside and I was like, I want to do this. I don't know how. And one fine day, exactly a year back in January, I decided I want to undergo this transformation and it has to be anyhow, even if I have to have a breakup with sugar, I will do that. But I was at the stage that I was like, either it's going to be a do or a die situation. And trust me, it's not easy because my lifestyle prior to that, you'll find more of colas in my body than water. That's how much I would love sweet. So it was not easy for me to give up on everything and undergo this transformation because trust me, today when people meet me, forget about creating an impact, I have become a living impact for them. Because you can see the transformation that happened and it was not easy. Every single day of my life, it was so difficult to give up on that craving, those extra brownies and gulab jamuns that you see. Today also during lunch, there was gulab jamun and for a second I was like, should I have that gulab jamun? And I was like, no. And trust me, I did not. So it's not that easy because when you love something so much and that's something your body is made up of, it's so difficult to give up on that part. And when I started doing that journey, last year exactly, I decided it's going to be a do or a die and I want to achieve that. And I gave up on everything, and trust me, when I thought I'm just doing a physical identity shift, it was not about physical identity shift. There was certain part of me that I rediscovered as a person that took me 3 decades of my life to know and learn about me. I used to be that short-tempered person, snapping at every small inconvenience of my life. That's what, if you ask me, my mother, who is Tuba, she will tell you a stubborn, short-tempered person. I'm not kidding. A lot of time people come and tell my mother, what a lovely name you've kept for your daughter. She tells everyone, please do not keep this name. This is because this name is something which is very much related to stubbornness according to her. So she tells people, please, you don't know, she's my one daughter, but she's equivalent to 1,000. Because that's what I do for her. But trust me, I transform. I transform into a person. Today, I do not snap anymore. I've achieved a particular mode wherein I follow even crisis in my life with a lot of calmness. And trust me, I did nothing for this. I'm being very honest. All that I did was, I started with a physical transformation and somehow, in that particular transformation, I don't know how, from sleeping from 3 hours a night to making sure that I sleep those 7-8 hours, just the small changes in my life developed in me a kind of person that I am today, and today I actually, if you see, I mentor people, I meet so many leaders in my life, and I see one simple setback that they come to me, be it student, be it a faculty, be it a senior leader of a company. They all come to me and tell me one simple thing, and that is that I have achieved a lot in my life. This is my title. Maybe I'm a CEO or founder or principal or whatever in my life, but somewhere down the line, I still feel empty. I don't know why. I feel exhausted. I feel burnt out. And you know why that happens as an individual? Because that is something I've lived my life for the longest time. It's because somewhere down the line, you're not content. There is this issue with fulfillment. And that's what we all do as a generation. What we do is, we are sitting in a cafe with friends and we're on a phone. We're sitting with family and we're on a phone. Yeah, that's what we do. We're in a particular social gathering and our mind is somewhere else. We do not live our life with fulfillment. And that's what I started practicing. A life with fulfillment, and that's how everything transformed in my life. It was not just the career that developed, but it transformed me as a person. It was not the career, it was the entire life that got transferred. And I realized one thing in my life at that point, that if you want to go ahead, and conquer the world, the first thing that you need to do is conquer yourself. And with rediscovering my career, my health, I rediscovered myself that I am today. Thank you so much.